What's the situation?
All right, everyone, welcome back to What's the Situation, Captain? My name is Yasif,
My name is Nadim.
and what is the situation today, Nadim?
The situation is Marco Polo, that famed TV show on Netflix that came out. What is it? 2014.
Yes, 2014. Are you sure we're doing the show? I had it written down here that we were going to do the childhood pool game, Marco Polo.
Oh, oh, this
I
is
had all the
awkward.
notes written down. It was just going to be an hour of me saying Marco and you were playing Polo.
I mean, we could still do that if you want. I guess it's more
No, I mean, no,
interesting.
no, it's okay, it's okay. All the work I put in, it's fine. I don't, we
No,
don't have to
no,
use
no,
it.
no. I mean, I don't want you to feel bad.
It was Mark.
Hello.
We're done.
That's it. Well, thank you for listening to
That's it.
What's the
Thank you for
Situation. We'll
listening.
catch you back next week.
So yeah, Marco Polo. Who recommended this show? Did I recommend you this show, or did you recommend me this show?
I just saw it on Netflix, and I guess I was like,
No,
hey,
I'm pretty
that
sure I
cool.
recommended you this show. That was a trick question because I knew the answer. It was a test, and you failed.
I'm sorry, I'm a failure.
Yeah,
I
exactly. So
still can't believe they made an entire show based off that kid pool game.
it's crazy, right? Modern television.
Netflix will make anything these days.
What next? Patty Cake?
This
It's just a dark spin-off of Patty Cake.
is it's a horror thriller.
Yeah, it's a Patty Cake extended universe.
Oh my god, I love it. I'd watch it. At this
I
point,
would
there's
too.
nothing else to watch. I'd watch it.
Anyway, so Marco Polo. So yeah, we'll give a brief synopsis of what happened. There were two seasons. We'll give our opinions on some of these things and maybe future direction that we see it going. Because unfortunately, it doesn't have a happy ending. The show does it, Nadim?
Yeah, it was cancelled by Netflix.
Wow, spoiler alert.
If it came out fucking 4 years ago. What rock are you living under?
COVID.
That's true.
So
Yeah, no,
I guess we'll start with we'll start with season one. So season one, I'm gonna be honest. I think when I initially recommended this to you, I think you watched season one and you're like, "Yes, what is this trash that you recommended to me?" Because it was a bit slow to get going, wasn't it?
it was extremely slow. Like,
Yes,
I felt like I wanted to skip a few episodes, but at the same time, I don't want to skip a few episodes. This is
it
all
was like
over
a
the
weird.
place.
It was like a weird thing because it had hints of like intrigue, but like it was also dumb in some sections. So you're like, "This is dumb," but I also want to know more about why it's dumb.
Yeah, you'd be like, you want more, but you don't know if more is good.
But you feel bad about it.
It's complicated, but
It's a complicated relationship. But anyway, so yeah, season one. So yeah, so this season it starts off with I can you guess it, Nadim, with a character named Marco Polo.
fuck off.
I know, I thought it was about Hugh Jackman. But no, I was shocked when a
He's
dude named Marco Polo came on. So it starts off, I believe Marco Polo's mom died, right? And then he's alone for a while, and then his dad, who left him, he just went to the convenience store one day to get milk, and he never came back.
nope,
Right?
just like my own.
He was on those milk trade routes, right?
Of course, yeah, that's what he was been doing. Going to
On
China
the
to get
Silk
the
Road,
milk.
Got to get that milk on the Silk Road.
Yep.
So his dad finally comes back after
Well, you see,
leaving
it's a
him for a long
mistranslation.
time.
Yes, it's not the Silk Road. It's the Milk Road.
It's the milk. Oh, you're Nadim. I think you just uncovered something.
They probably translated it wrong. From ancient fucking Mongolian.
I think so. Like, I think those got milk commercials were all just pointing us to this.
It's all coming together. The pool game, the Milk Road. It's a
It's all
conspiracy.
connected.
It's a conspiracy.
Exactly. We're getting somewhere, Nadim. Anyway,
Fucking all the 180. What we're talking
I know,
about.
I'm just trying to do a synopsis here, and you're just uncovering the mysteries of the universe over here.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, you go back. Go back to synopsizing.
I don't know. Are you sure? Are you sure you don't
No,
want
no,
to
no,
talk
go
about
on, go
milk?
on, go on. I don't want the government to come after me.
You're right. You're right. There's already too much that they have on you.
Of course, what is it? My FBI agents like hands on the button to send the sniper at me.
Of course. But so anyway, yeah, so his dad finally comes back one day and Marco's pretty happy for some reason. He's just like, "Hey dad, mom died. Can you take care of me now?" And then his dad's like, "I love you, son, but I'm gonna go get some more milk." And and then he kind of just leaves Marco, but little did the dad know, Marco stored on the ship,
He
and
wanted
his
milk
dad wasn't
too.
happy. He wanted that milk, it was a milk drought in Italy,
Yeah, the Venetians are notorious for not having enough milk.
Oh yeah, just like the potato famine, there was the Italian milk famine,
The milk drought.
the milk drought, of course. The so yeah, so they Marco goes on. So then he goes on the Silk Road with his dad.
Milk Road.
Uh, Milk Road, of course. Thank you for the correction. And they eventually they get captured by some Mongolians, right?
Famous
And then they get
farmers.
Mongolian farm. No one's gonna get that.
No one's gonna
They're farming
understand the
milk
inside
on the
joke.
Milk Road. On the Milk Road, Nadim.
Yep.
So yeah, so they get captured by these Mongolians, and they get brought in front of Kublai Khan, the man who controls the Milk Road.
The great Khan of the Mongol Empire.
Yes, so he was Genghis Khan's grandson,
Yep.
right? So was he the last Khan?
Uh, well, he's like, what is it? Because like after him, like you could say like I am the Khan and like claim control over the entire Mongolian Empire, but like the Khan that comes after him only controlled China, and so like the other Khans, controlled like the Ilkhanate and like Golden Horde. So like there was like
Wait, so
multiple like how like in this show like there's multiple like Mongolian Khans, but
yeah,
he's the
yeah,
Great Khan.
yeah. So he was the
He's
last
like the
great
last
Khan then, I
great
suppose.
Khan. Like after him,
So
it like
that's what
fractures
okay.
up more.
Which makes sense because of like where this show is taking the whole storyline, but we'll get that later.
Okay.
So yeah, so then this gets taken in front of this Khan. This Khan's like, "Hey man, what you doing on my Milk Road?" And they're like, Marco's dad, being the brave soul he is,
Hmm.
doesn't want to get killed, so he's like, "Here, take my son, and we'll go now." And then the Khan was like, "Yeah, this seems reasonable. You can leave. I'll take your son."
Yep.
Seems like a great dad, huh?
Yeah, fucking great ass dad. I'll be
He
back,
just
but
really
he's
wanted
just
that.
going back for the Milk Road.
He's just going down to the convenience store to get some milk again.
Yep.
He'll be back, as he swears. Um, so yeah, as you could tell, Marco didn't really enjoy this, did he, Nadim?
No, he's kind of pissed at his dad.
He really was. He didn't even get any milk in
I
return.
know, like just like fucking
So
leaves them up with all these Chinese, well, Mongolian people. Mongolian pretending to be Chinese people.
that is wow, that's deep.
Well, this is what is literally what they were.
That is, yes. So, yeah, so the whole thing, like Nadim said, with this Khan is that, unlike the other ones, he was trying to, like, integrate different cultures
Hmm.
into his empire. So he was trying to get Christianity in there, which is why he accepted Marco, right?
Yep, he's yeah. Kublai Khan was like notorious for like integrating many different cultures and religions. So like the entire area was like freedom of religion. Like they didn't really care, and like he was also more of a Chinese, trying to emulate more of the Chinese emperors, and that like really pissed off a
Yeah,
lot of his
like,
as you can see in the show. That pissed off a lot of his Mongolian subjects,
definitely,
especially,
like,
especially
his son, who's, like, the
yeah,
heir,
Jingo.
he raised as a Chinese, right?
Yeah, he raised him in the Chinese, like, what is it? Taught him Chinese philosophy and all like that. His, what is it? 100 Eyes is a Chinese monk. Trained him.
And they give him a Chinese name.
Yeah. And, like, he also, like, what is it? The capital is no longer the Mongolian capital, it's in China.
hmm
So, he
So,
pissed off a bunch of people.
y- exactly. Um, so, yeah, so then, after that, so yeah, so Marco's now kind of with Kublai,
Big Daddy Cool.
and yeah, exactly. So I have written here some great notes. What happens next is Marco is homesick, but a blind Chinese monk trains him in kung fu and tells him to forget his dad, so everything is okay now.
Yep, that's how the game worked. You know, Marco Polo. You're a blind. You're That's why you're blind in Marco Polo, the game.
Oh my god. Oh, it makes so much.
It's based off the full game. Yes.
There's so many layers to this. It's so complex. But yeah, so the blind Chinese monk, the inspiration for the Marco Polo pool game. His name is Hundred Eyes, like Nadim said. He does kung fu.
Which is ironic because he doesn't have any eyes.
What?
He's blind.
He's blind,
Okay, I'll shut up. You keep going.
and his name is Hundred
Ah, the
Eyes.
irony.
Oh my god! I never realized that.
What? Fuck you.
Dumbass.
Fuck off. You piece of shit.
Did you know that? Yeah. So Marco wanted to get back to his dad, but then the Chinese dude is just like, no, 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 just
Kung
like
Fu.
this is your life now, accept it. And then Marco's like, I'm a, I'm a get in this court and be good boy,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Well, he wasn't a good boy though, was he?
No, he was.
He
Was
was a
he?
naughty boy. He was trying to sleep with
He
the
was naughty boy.
little princess.
Oh, was that this season? I completely forgot.
Yeah, the blue princess. You know, he tried to he gets
Oh
with
yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what was this? Was this before or after he joined the court?
Well, I mean, he joins the court and like he sees her like riding off. He's like, "Hot damn, I want some of that horse ass." But then he sees the chick on top of it.
Oh,
He's like, "You know what? I'll go for the chick
it's
instead."
like I guess I'll settle, you
Yeah.
know. But he really wanted that horse.
He's fucking thick.
Yeah. So then, yeah. But to get onto the court, being like in the inner circle. Again, some great notes that I have written here. I wrote, Marco keeps climbing up the ladder and blue balls himself to get in the inner
Yeah, there's
circle.
that whole thing where he goes into the brothel. He's like, "You want to sleep with these ladies? No, you need my trust first." Like, damn it.
You can't exactly. You'll sleep with him after. So he literally just like walks through the brothel, watching like the rest of the court just smash all these
And he's just
chicks,
like,
and
"Oh,
he's like,
well." The
yeah,
entire show,
but he
the
got in.
entire show is about him trying to sleep with the prostitutes. That's his entire goal in life, to get in Kublai's trust so he can get into that brothel.
Yeah, and he got it. That Milk
The
Road.
Milk Road. The Milk Road. Wanted their milk.
Uh,
The source of all.
exactly.
It's the
Yes.
source of all the milk acid for the Milk Road.
Oh, there it is. Oh my god.
We're still getting flogged.
But
We're still getting flogged.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah. So then, yeah, there was a whole side thing with um, the blue princess, right? So you want to explain this part, Nadine?
He sees. Yeah, like I said, he sees her like she's the captured princess, but she isn't actually the princess. She was her handmaiden, and she pretended to be the princess to live because the actual princess killed herself. And
Yeah. So she legit just like wore her clothes, and then like
when they found her, just like,
when the
all
monk
Chinese people look the same. We'll take her.
exactly.
We believe you.
She's like, yes, I am.
It checks out.
I am wearing fancy clothes, therefore I must be
It
princess.
checks out. Checks out. Just like she's taken
Yeah.
into the.
Your all your paperwork seems to be in
Yeah.
order, you miss.
What is it? Yeah, Marco's like, I want some of that blue ass, and like
Mm-hmm.
they fall in. Oh, okay, I guess I don't know if they fall in love, but like they get it on. But it's forbidden.
Yeah, and
Because he's white.
oh, because he wanted the horse
Yeah.
instead.
Or ride that horse all night long.
But yeah, we'll get into. I have some things about that whole side storyline, but we'll get into that later. But yeah. So I believe after that, then the whole thing. So most of Mongolia is like a big empire at this point, right? And China's almost entirely conquered. I think it's just the last city is left, right?
Yeah, the Song
Um,
Dynasty in the south. Yeah.
Yes. So then, conveniently, emperor dies in the Song Dynasty,
And yeah,
uh,
poor old fella.
and yeah, then his son is too young, so the chancellor there kind of takes over, and this man is kind of like really, really like, "Eh, I'm a smart boy, right? He's like, I'm big brain.
I'm like the mantis, small but powerful.
He, he really liked his mantises, didn't he?
Dude had a
Manti?
mantis fetish.
He had a thing
Like
for
every time you
mantis.
see
Like
him, he's just like moving the mantis with his stick. It's like, yes, this is how politics works.
like I bet if the internet existed back then, he would rule 34 mantis.
Oh God. Why'd you have
So
to put that image
yeah,
in
and
my
then he
head?
well, you're welcome.
Fucking
That's what I'm here
not
for.
mantis from Kung
But
Fu Panda.
oh shit. That's not the mantis I was talking about. No, I just ruined it for
Yeah, you
myself.
did. You can't watch Kung Fu Panda now
God damn. No, my favorite
because you do
movie.
know there probably is mantis porn from Kung Fu Panda.
Damn it. All right, no, I'm too innocent for this. No, I'm
Alright, I'm
straying
going
away.
incognito. I need
So
to research.
oh yeah, of course. But
Fucking hell.
so then yeah, so this chancellor man, he's really shrewd and he's trying to get all the power, right? Cuz the technically the young kid should rule, but he's like, "No, no, you're too young. I'm gonna just take over, right?" He's like, "It's all
Yeah,
good,
because like
right? I'm gonna
his
take
entire
over."
power base lies on the fact that the emperor was sleeping with his sister
Yes, and his sister is like she's a concubine, like the emperor's prostitute. So
and the
his
mother of his daughter.
like yes.
And yeah,
Was
no,
it?
they had a kid, and like her entire story is about doing whatever she could to like get to her kid,
Oh, the daughter. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about the daughter.
poor daughter.
But yeah, so when this happens, is there anything else you want to say about that?
Only that his sister is pretty badass.
She was actually very badass. Uh, yeah, she. So then from there, so now that the emperor's dead, Kublai kind of sees this as like an opportunity. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take that city now."
And does he take the
Right?
city asset? Does he?
He don't. He don't take the city, Nadim.
Why don't he take the city assets?
It's that Milk Road, man. That Milk Road. But yeah, so he tries to take this city because he thinks that like the chancellor is kind of an idiot, and so he sends his son um,
Jingham,
to Jengam. Yes, he sends his son to go face the
who is
army,
a
and
bigger idiot.
he's like, exactly. So to his brother, he's like, hey, my brother. He's like, you can back up my son, right? And his brother's like, yeah, dog, I got you. But he didn't
No, he
got
did
him,
not.
and he doesn't show up. So then they get severely defeated,
Yup.
right?
Got fucking stabbed in the back by his own baby bro.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty. That was
It's a
not
dick
cool,
move.
man.
It was
That
a dick
wasn't
move.
cool. Not gonna lie, it was kind of a dick move. That wasn't very Milk
But
Road of
like,
him.
that wasn't the only dick move he does. What was the bigger dick move he had to?
Am I supposed to know the answer to this?
He tries to take the throne.
Was that this season?
Yeah, I mean, it happens in both
As you
seasons, but it's two different characters. Yeah, what is it? He raises his
wait.
army and then like, fucking.
Okay, yeah, but, well, that's
No,
season
no,
two, right?
season one. The brother, he raises his
Was it
army,
season one?
and then Kublai goes and they fight 1v1. He's like 1v1 me, bro.
Oh,
And like it's just two
dude, I'm
fat
so
guys
bad
just
at.
fighting each other.
Oh yeah, they're just slapping each other.
And then Kublai wins, and like the other army's like, all right, fuck it, you win, and that's it.
Yeah, all right, boys, pack it up. We're
Fat
good.
guy beat the other fat guy.
That was like they had this big army. It's like we can't afford to have a fight scene, so have the two
Yeah.
fat guys fight each other.
Which is ironic because this is one of Netflix's biggest fucking productions.
They could only pay for the army, not to actually have
Yeah.
them fight. That's about it. Yeah, and then also I guess I forgot another thing. So in the midst, somewhere in the middle of this, there was an attempted assassination of Kublai Khan, right?
Who tries to kill him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hashashin.
Who tried to kill him? I said.
Or who tried to kill him? I don't know who did.
Wasn't it the Chancellor's sister?
Oh, I know it was the Chancellor's sister,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then, yeah, there was that weird part where like when Marco was trying to find who killed him, he meets that old man, right?
What old man?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't you remember like he's trying to find like the old man who's like the secret secret
Oh
board of the
yes, no, no,
assassins.
yeah, we're talking about. Oh yeah, that was the first assassination attempt. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This was
Shashin, of
the
course.
Pashashin.
Assassin's Creed.
Was this?
Fucking Ezio's coming
I
after
know,
him.
I know. Just Assassin's Creed with a
Yeah,
lisp.
the Shashin Brotherhood.
Yeah. Oh yes. Um, but yeah,
Eki
like,
Akatore.
do you remember? I know. Do you remember who ordered the assassination of this one? I forget which one.
Uh, 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 uh.
We're very well
But
prepared
yeah,
for
I
this.
honestly don't know.
It's blanking on me. Like it's written here, but I don't. Was it the Chancellor? Was it the brother?
Uh, maybe it was. I think it was the Chancellor,
It might have
or
been the
maybe it was
Chancellor.
Ahmed. Ahmed.
No, wasn't that he didn't do anything until the second season, didn't he?
Honest. Well, like I don't know because what is it in the next episode? The
Okay, well,
sister
there's an
tries to kill him.
assassin's.
Like poor Kublai can't get a fucking break. First the assassins, then this hot chick tries to kill him.
Yeah.
He was his
So
concubine.
yeah. So
Yeah,
then.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, no. It was fine. But no, it's not fine. Fuck you. But
I'm sorry.
what else happens in this season, Nadim?
Well, like what is it? What is it? The Chancellor falls in power, but then he regains power. But it's all for naught because Kublai is like, fuck you, I'm going to take the city myself. And so, with the help of Marco, who like builds these trebuchets for some reason, because obviously, yeah, you remember the
Oh,
trebuchet?
yeah. There was that whole thing where they like suspected Marco of like. Oh my God! I completely forgot. There was the whole thing where one of the court subjects, like his minister of war, who was like super trusted, like takes the fall for the assassination attempt. Like he's like, I was the one who did it, even though he didn't.
Yeah,
Right?
sure, sure.
No, that was the thing. I think it was Ahmed that planned the assassination. So yeah, so he takes the fall, but then Kublai's just like, and then he kills himself. Well, he gets sentenced, but then Kublai still throws Marco because they suspect him, and then Marco was just like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah,
let
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah,
go. You
yeah.
know why?
What is it?
Trebuchets.
They imprison Marco because they think he's the one that tried to kill Kublai, but then Yusuf takes the
Yeah, yeah,
fall.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Marco gets
Yeah, for
trebuchets.
some reason, because some random kid
Yeah,
from Venice obviously knows how to build ultimate trebuchets.
of course.
Uh,
You don't?
I mean, the trebuchet is the superior siege engine,
It is the superior. As soon as you're born in Venice, Nadim, you are handed the blueprint
and
of
you
a
have to learn it.
trebuchet.
That's all they do in school.
If you cannot reconstruct a trebuchet by the age of
You have to run
5,
into the canal.
you are thrown out of you're thrown out of the
No, you're
country.
thrown into the canal and you're forced to drown.
Oh, that's dark. See, I was just gonna throw it out of the country,
If
but
you
now
can't
you're
build a
like vivid
trebuchet,
with
you don't
this.
deserve to live.
You're like getting vivid. You're like painting a picture. Like, no, these kids, they're thrown
They
in the canal,
drown.
and they
Their
sit there and they watch as the water fills up their lungs, and they slowly lose the
their
capacity to
final
breathe,
thoughts
and they
are
think
of the
their final
trebuchet.
thoughts. If only I could have built that trebuchet as
Only
the
at the
water
end, as
surrounding
they
them,
are about to die, do they remember, indeed, the blueprints of the trebuchet.
and that there is only one true
The
God, and
trebuchet.
it is the trebuchet. So yeah, so then Marco builds a trebuchet, and then they launch them at the city, and
Yeah,
then they win. And then Hundred Eyes kills the Mantis, dude.
yeah, which was pretty an awesome fight.
That was a pretty
Yeah,
dope fight. That was okay. So that's the first season. As you can tell, like we said, it's kind of all
yeah,
over the place.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it starts off very slow, like extremely slow, and then it just picks up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it really does. It's like
Like
yeah, they introduced all these interesting characters, but like for the life of us, we couldn't really care what they're talking about for like the first few episodes. But then like shit kind of picks up later in the season, but at the same time, it kind of doesn't.
like it just picks up like out of nowhere. Like it's somewhat of a good pickup, like because like some of the stuff is cool, but it just ramps up out of nowhere, and you're kind of like, whoa,
Like what is it? Like the
what's
final
happening?
episode's like great. Like the attack on the city and like the fight scenes. Like it was great, but like the build up to it, like I don't know. You wanted a bit of a bigger build up.
Yeah, definitely. And like I think like through the course of 10 episodes, like Marco's relationship with Kublai was just like you're a stranger, he trusts him, then he doesn't trust him, then he trusts him again, then he doesn't trust him, and then he trusts
Yeah,
him again.
it's
Like I think that's legitimately how many
like
times it
what is it?
happened.
Like the second season, they're like I we'll talk about the second season, which does the show much better.
Yes, like they took like the good parts of the first season and they did it fairly well.
As you're saying, first season, Kublai and Marco's relationship was like I don't know, you wanted more, but like
Yeah.
it gets better in the second
Like you
season,
could
definitely.
definitely, but like you could see like where they wanted to go, but they just weren't sure how to
Yes.
get there. Like they were still figuring it out. Like some things again they were good. Like I really enjoyed the 100
He
Eyes.
was
He was just kind
badass
of like a
character, yeah.
he was just a badass character. I also extremely enjoyed um the Chancellor and his
Yeah, they were
sister.
both really interesting characters. Like
Like they fleshed them out like
yeah,
just enough,
like the both like what
right?
is it? You know what they want, you understand their entire backstory and how that works into their character. And you're like, you know what, I like this.
Like you see like why he is the way he is. Like it's all explained. Like he was used by his sister and seen as the dumb one, and now when he gets power, he kind of like turns it on his sister, and he's like, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm the
he
one in
wants to prove
charge now,"
himself.
right?
Because like the whole point the
hmm
whole reason he got power was because his sister was like getting it on with the emperor.
Exactly. So yeah, those characters were honestly like I
Yeah,
really enjoyed them. Like again, not perfect, but like I
they were
seriously
the
enjoyed
highlights
them.
of the season. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, so uh, good and bad. Good, the sex scenes. Bad, the sex scenes. There were a lot of sex scenes, man.
There weren't enough sex scenes. Yeah, so there weren't enough. We
Not.
need more.
Oh, of course, you're very
Now I need to
cultured
rewatch the
of
show
you.
again.
Yeah, like they just threw in so many sex scenes, man. It's just like I don't need this much, man. It's like I
I
appreciate it, but
appreciate
just
the effort,
calm
but
down
like,
there.
God, calm down.
Like yeah, Netflix, please, please, like take this slow. I
Buy
don't
me
think
dinner
I'm
first.
ready for this kind of commitment yet. Yeah, not on the first date, Netflix. Come on. But yeah, like there was a lot. There was a
Oh
lot
yeah.
in there. I think like this was this was released around the time of Game of Thrones like peak, right?
Big Game of Thrones, yes. So they were like,
Or was this
all right, we'll double the amount of sex scenes from Game of Thrones.
yeah, they're like what works good in Game of Thrones? Character? No, couldn't be. Story? No. Lore? No, 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 no. What could it be? What could it be? The sex
Yes.
scenes. Yes.
More sex
We
scenes.
need them.
We need
That's how you make a
more.
show. More sex scenes,
More
more
money,
money.
more sex scenes. Because that totally worked out for them.
Yeah. I mean, they were just pioneering OnlyFans at that
Exactly.
point. Yeah, so that was kind of like a mixed bag there. It was just like, all right, calm down there. Some of the again, like the beginning part again, like we said, it was
Mhm.
slow. Like they weren't really getting like how to flesh out characters and how to develop them. And like my least favorite storyline through that entire thing, and I think it spills over to second season,
Yeah,
is the Blue
I
Princess.
didn't like her and like Marco's relationship.
I could not stand it at all. It was just like, no, I like you. No, I don't. Yes, I do.
It's
No. Maybe
and also the
no.
chemistry wasn't there between the actors and like it just felt forced. Like
It just felt
they
so
really
forced.
wanted
Like, and
Marco to
especially
have like a love interest, but like they could have chosen a more
it just
interesting character
they could
for
have.
it.
Yeah, and then like it turns around and it's just like she's not even a real princess, and then but she was still saying, you're not you're
And
too
like
lowly
even in
for
the end,
me,"
like
and it's like you're
she
lower
gets
than me.
betrothed to what is it, Jingam? She gets married to him, and like I don't know, I
hmm
feel like they wanted to have a Marco Polo love interest, but like I don't know, I would have preferred if the character didn't.
Definitely, or like just a better one, like especially around the time that it was, right? Where like there was a lull in the first season where not much was happening, and they're like, "Hey, I know a lot isn't happening, but take this really boring
Yeah.
love story." And it's just like,
Yeah,
"Gee,
no,
thanks, Netflix. Honestly, I'd
but
take another sex scene."
careful what you wish for. Yep.
They delivered. Yeah, it was just like it stretched on so long. Like I think that was like the longest running
And
plot
it
point
was like the
the
least
first season.
interesting plot point.
It really was. Yeah, and unfortunately, it continues in the
Well,
second season.
it gets weird in the second season, and I'll explain why. It gets
Yeah,
really
well,
weird.
speaking of, it really does. Shit gets random in the second season. Do
All
you
right,
want to talk about it a bit? Wait, actually, first season. So what would you
I'll
give
give it a
this
6 out
first
of 10.
season? 6 out. I feel like that's fairly reasonable, right? Like there was potential, just
Yeah, it
executed
wasn't
very
shit,
poorly in the beginning.
but it wasn't great.
Yeah, like I definitely like see where you were coming from when you were like, yes, this is bad show. Why you recommend? And I say no, Nadim,
It get
trust. Like it
yeah.
was worth sticking with it. So you want to explain why that was worth it, Nadim? Give
All
us a
right,
rundown
so
of that
leaving off
second
from the
season.
first season, Kublai captures all of China. He's stronger than ever, but you're always even at your strongest. There's always weakness within, and Kublai is surrounded by enemies. First,
Wow, you tried to
I
make that
did,
sound
but
so
it didn't
dramatic, but
work.
you're like, when, when you're at the
Yes.
strongest, your weakest enemy.
Fine. Okay, fuck off. Fine. I won't go dramatic. I
Are you a
won't go dramatic,
philosopher?
dude.
Are you a
I
philosopher, Nadim? I'm
I did
just.
terrible in my philosophy. I'm sorry. Well, what is
Anyway,
it?
please
He's
continue.
surrounded. What is it? He's got new enemies now. First, the Chinese boy emperor. He escapes the city, and so he sends Marco and the Chancellor's sister. Team up on a surprising team up. Like whoa, I wouldn't have expected these two characters to team up.
Join us next week when we watch Marco and
Oh,
the prostitute.
but yeah, no, they go and they find the emperor, and he's being protected by this ninja kung fu chick, who turns out is Hundred
Hmm.
Eye's old lover. I know, like, where'd that come
What?
from? What are the odds?
Damn. Oh,
But they capture the
damn,
kid and
boy.
they take him to, the capital, and they give him to Kublai. And so Kublai's like, what do I do with this kid? He's a threat to my throne. And so like Marco and Jingam are
Yeah,
like,
he's like, what?
no, you should send him to like a monastery or something. Let him, you know,
Yeah, Kublai was trying to figure out what to do with the kid, right? He's like, man, do I send this kid to like a monastery? He's like, what do kids do nowadays? He's like, kid, do you want Fortnite or something? Like, is that
Apex maybe. I don't. What do you want?
Apex?
Marco,
I
teach
don't
him how
know,
to drive the
Warzone?
trebuchet.
Oh, of course, that's it. That was what
But
Soda
like,
was
what is it?
missing.
Then Ahmed, who's the vice regent, takes over from Yusuf. So Ahmed is, what is it? Kublai's adopted son, and like you think, because like Kublai gave him everything, be like, oh my god, I love you, you're my dad, you're awesome, but no. And so what is it? He tells Kublai that the only thing to do is to kill the boy emperor. So he gives him the kid, and like he's alone in the throne room. He's like he has a dagger, and the kid's crying. He's like, "Please don't kill me!" And so it's like, "Fine, fine, fine." He throws the dagger. He's like, "Come here, give me a hug." He's like, "Okay, oh, it's safe and stuff." And then he fucking suffocates the kid, like
Yeah,
literal
I
child
was just like,
murder.
oh,
And
yeah. It's like, oh, okay,
Marco's like
Netflix, I
witnessing it.
see
He's like,
you.
"What the
I.
fuck?"
Yeah, that was
And
that
so
was a
yeah, that
scene,
was a pretty
man.
fucked up scene.
That was, I mean, it was a good
It
scene.
was
I did not
extremely
expect it.
unexpected, but like, it's literal child murder. I loved it. And so yeah, that throws a
Yeah.
that
Like,
was
you
pretty funny.
sick fuck.
But what is it? No, it throws a wrench in the relationship between Marco and Kublai, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, no, and like unlike the first season where they kept flip flopping between he trusts or didn't trust, like this one it was like they set it up well and like the separation in
Yeah.
the relationship worked.
And so while the boy emperor is dead, that's not
So
the end of his troubles. Cause what is it? This other enemy is this guy named Kaidu, who is leader of one of the Mongol Khanates in the west. Sorry. And so he's like, "Yo, you didn't let me take control of the army to capture this Chinese city from the last season. I don't like you anymore. So I'm gonna claim the throne." And Kublai's like, "Bitch, what?" And so an election is called, and like like most of the season is basically leading up to this election, where both Kublai and Kaidu
It's
are
just one
gathering
big.
all the support they can get to what is it?
Yeah, man. No, that this the season is just one big presidential
Yup,
debate.
like
It's
yup.
live on CNN.
Um, and another like this dude's surrounded by enemies because not only is his cousin trying to take his throne, but his son, not Jingam, Ahmed, who turns out he adopted him and gave him everything. And, Ahmed was happy at first. He became a and so like it reveals his backstory. He makes him a I know, like
Dude, that
he makes him a
backstory.
tax collector, and he goes, touring the empire, learning about it. It's like, oh, so happy and stuff. And then what was it? He sleeps with this prostitute, and then it
And then the
turns out
prostitute
to be
was
his
like
mother.
stepson. That's
Yeah,
not.
'cause, like, what is it? He sleeps with her at the end, and she starts singing a song that his mother used to sing to him when he was a kid. He's like, "Oh shit, that's my mom," and so he kills her, and then he swears revenge against Kublai,
Yeah,
because as you do, because it's totally Kublai's fault that you slept with your own mother.
of course, definitely. And but little did he know, he started an entire genre
Incest
within
porn.
Pornhub.
It was it's it's such a fucked backstory. Like, what the fuck?
It was pretty. I like when he was talking about his mom, and it's just like he slept with the thing. I'm like, they're not gonna. I'm like, they're not gonna do that, are they? And then like she starts singing, and he pauses. I'm like, nah, they're
No,
not. They're
no,
not gonna.
please
They're not gonna
no.
do it. And then he's just like, and then they did it. And I'm like,
That's like
oh
it's an
no, oh
unconventional
no.
backstory for a villain. I'll give it that.
He really was. I'm like, oh, that would kind
But
of mess
like
you
to
up
the
a bit, I
point where you want to
guess.
kill your adopted father who gave you everything.
Yeah, he was just a
Like,
bit
it's
of
your own.
a he was a bit of like
You
a
didn't have to
just
sleep
throwing a
with your mother.
tantrum. Yeah, it's like you
You're the
kind
one
of
that
did that
slept with
yourself,
her. It's
man.
not his fault.
Like all he asked you to do was collect taxes. He didn't ask you.
Yeah, it's pretty stoned. Yeah, and so what is it? Not and
He just came to the front door. He's like, I'm here to collect taxes, and she's like, I don't have any money. He's like, well, there are other ways you can pay.
Wow, wow. But you see, Kublai's list of enemies doesn't stop
Sorry,
there because lo and behold, the fucking Pope hates him as well.
dude. The Pope comes in and over. He's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he's
I'm gonna
like,
get in on
the
this.
Mongols are moving west and they have freedom of religion, and I can't have that. Only Christianity. And so he
Only
teams up
that's all
with
you need.
Marco's father. What?
Well, yeah, it turned out that Marco's father was working for the
Yeah,
Pope
and
this
not only does he
entire
team up with
time.
Marco's father, but Kublai's uncle, whose name is Nayan, and is a pedophile, but is also a Christian, which
Yeah,
makes sense.
they're not insinuating
But
anything.
yeah, no,
But
he
I'm
did
just, I'm just saying
the
that it
dude
happened.
decides to help. So
Yeah,
what is it? Ahmed teams up with Nayan, the Pope, and Kaidu to take down Kublai. And what's so fucked is how he got the uncle to team up with them. Is he he fucking sent the Chinese emperor's daughter, you know, the daughter
yeah, the
from what is it?
girl, and then
The
he's just like,
badass chick's the kid, niece to the chancellor, and so he sends her to fucking to the uncle and be like to fucking not really seduce him, but like tempt him. And she doesn't know what's happening, but like he's like
she's
sweating. He's like, oh
no,
no,
she's just
and
like,
it's kind of a fucked scene.
it was pretty mess. But I'm like, okay, Netflix. First you kill a kid,
Now
now
child
you're
prostitution.
selling. I was like, what? Damn! All right, Marco
And
Polo
so
season two.
yeah, so that's Kublai's entire story. That's like the main story. Is like Kublai has to deal with all these enemies that are coming against him. Uh,
Yeah, and then so it ends with the
so like yeah,
debate,
what
right?
happens was Kaido's kids. He has two kids. He has a daughter who's this like badass wrestler, and who's also in love with Kublai's bastard son. and like he has this, and you know Kaido's son is also like a little shit, and so like what is it? That little shit
Oh
causes
man,
not Kublai,
yo,
Kaido's son.
Kublai's.
Kublai's son, you know,
No, no, no. I was just gonna say Kublai's
oh
bastard
he's a
son. I
badass. I
enjoyed
love
his
him.
character. I liked him.
We'll talk about it later.
He's badass.
But he was
His hair
still
was
like
dumb,
he was
but
one
he
of
was
my favorite characters. But yeah, so like what is it?
yeah, he
Kaido
was yeah,
does
yeah.
like some aggressive actions, and it leads to a battle between the two. And so when the election comes, Kublai's like, "Hey, that guy, you know, attacked me," and that's all the Mongol chiefs like, and so they all vote with Kublai, and Kublai kills Kaido. It's like, oh, you know, happily ever after. But it's not because
It's because it's time for
a
another fucking crusade.
So what is it? Fucking some dude named Prester John, which is, you know, a historical myth, and his epic crusading army just like stumble on it. The fucking cliffhanger is like, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, like they had been teasing this
It's
man
like
like this entire
the
time,
final
like they'd be
scene
like,
is just
hey,
like fucking
yeah,
Prester John arriving, and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
yeah. It's just everything's on fire, and Marco and
Yeah,
Kublai are
and
like
like the
dipping
camp
out.
is abandoned, and it's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? But that's not. But that's not the entire thing that happens
Yeah,
in the season, because then there's the subplot of, you know, the princess, the blue princess, who's married to, you know, Jingham.
My
So you know how Marco's
favorite
and she and
story.
Marco liked each other, but she's married to Jingham. I mean,
Did they? Did they in
they
the
were
dream?
supposed
Did
it
they?
was
Did
in
they
the
like each other in the
script,
dream?
but you know she's
It
married to
was
the
right there. It
crown
was written
prince
there.
Jingham,
Therefore,
and
it
she
is
has to give
true.
him an heir. But you know it's not working
Hmm.
out. You know she what is it gets a miscarriage, and so what happens is Jingham's mom basically gets the stable boy come into her room. She holds her down and has the stable boy impregnate her. And what's even
Marco Polo
fucked is
season 2.
she implies that even she did the same thing with Jingham. Like Jingham's also a stable boy's son. Yeah, she's like,
Wait,
yeah, because
did
like when
she?
she's holding her down, she's like, but the heir won't have full royal blood, and she's like, the heir will have no royal blood.
No, no. She's saying that because no, no, that wasn't that. She was saying that because she knew that the Blue Princess wasn't royalty.
Oh really? I thought it was because Jingham had no royal blood.
Yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. It's because she knew that the Blue Princess was actually the
Oh,
handmaiden.
never mind then.
Yeah.
Oh,
We dug a bit
might
too
have
far deep, Dave. I
misheard
think you
then.
gotta like bury, put put the dirt
But either
back
way,
in the hole
she
and like
helps
step out of it.
her daughter-in-law cuckold her son,
Yeah,
and like she gives birth to twins,
yeah.
but like she's so like guilty and like delirious about it that what is it? The mother she goes with the mother, and the mother drowns her at the end of the story, killing her. So you're like, the fuck?
Oh, she dies. I
Yeah, no, like
completely forgot about
she's
that.
like fucking delirious, and like she doesn't know if she can keep the secret. She's just like, the mother's like, fine, fine, I'll help you, and then like she goes and she drowns her.
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
and
if Marco
Marco's
was
watching,
Marco
isn't he?
watching it.
I think so. I
And
think he
like, what is
knew
it?
all that shit. I
Ahmed
don't know.
like tries to capture like they figure out Ahmed's bad, so he runs away. But while Kublai is away, he takes the capital, and so Jingham has to team up with Hundred Eyes and the, the bastard son, and it's like pretty awesome confrontation, and you know, somewhat of a happy
Hmm.
ending, but also a cliffhanger ending. It's
Because
fucking
crusade
Crusader
time,
time.
baby. A
But we'll
holy
never know
land,
because
baby. No, we won't because
they fucking
unfortunately,
axed
Nadeem,
him.
what happened to this show? Ah,
Mm-hmm.
shit. Just when it was getting good, man. Just when we were
Like, you know,
getting to
shit
the
was picking
crusade,
up.
man.
Everything was like,
They
what
had
the
to take it
fuck?
away.
Oh, so that's so weird. That's like came out of nowhere. But then like, nope, nope. You never know where it's gonna lead. It's done.
Then
Yep.
boom, holy
Music
music stops.
stops.
And it's gone.
Yeah. So, what did you like about the season,
Yeah,
Yasis?
yeah. This season, okay, so they really didn't
Oh yeah,
hold
it was
anything
so
back this
much
season,
better
did they?
improvement.
They looked on the list of like things that you don't do in regular TV shows. They're like, so killing a
Child
child,
prostitution.
we'll
Yeah.
do that. Yep. Let's see, what's Prostitution. Oh, add that to the list. What is this?
Yeah,
Rape?
yeah,
What? Put that in there. We got a
yeah.
show.
But like, it worked. It worked somehow.
It worked. Like they made it work. Like, well, we're not saying this the stuff that happened and it was good, but like the the way they implemented it with the characters, like the reasoning behind it, like the
Oh
choices they
yeah.
made actually had consequences. Like you saw how killing the kid affected Kublai and
Like, I
like the
love the
relationship
episode
with
where him
Marco
and
Polo,
Marco
right?
go on a hike and like they confront the wolf and Marco saves him and it's like their relationship became so much better this season. It's more complex. Like
Like it's not just a thing of just like, all right, I guess
like
Marco likes him. It's just like no,
and
there's
like yeah
strife here, and then they
and
got
like
over it.
even I even like how like even like who you're supposed to be rooting for like have like questionable morals because like you're supposed to like either you want to root for Kublai but then he goes and kills a kid.
And they're
Like, and
like,
like, so, like
what am I
even the
supposed to do
enemies,
here?
like the bad guys suck. So like they've done some terrible things as well. So like all the characters have questionable morals, and I like that.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
definitely see like where they're coming from, but you're not sure
and
what
I'll
to
one.
root for.
Oh, go ahead.
But like, sorry, but like they still tie it together. Like the point where Mark, like you just said, when they went on the hunting trip, when they came back together, like that made sense to me. It's just like Marco was like questioning, "Hey, should I leave? Like, why am I still here? Like, what am I doing?" And then he's like, "No,
I don't know. And
this is why I'm here."
another thing I liked was what is it? Jingam. Like first season he was kind of a little shit, but like by this season, he grew. Character development. I liked him. I
Like
like him more in this season.
definitely, like he did completely 180. Like I remember, yeah, like you were saying, first season when I watched it, I'm like, man,
But
this guy's a dick. I hate him. And then like because like he was such a bitch to Marco and all that shit, right? But then you see like his character develop in the second one, and you're like, okay, he's kind of like this way because he was always looked down upon by the other Mongols because he was raised Chinese. Like he has to kind of assert his
yeah.
authority. Like you get where he's coming from.
But and yeah, what is it? Another thing I liked about this season was the bastard son. His name's Biamba, and his forbidden love with Kaido's daughter. The wrestler. I don't know. I like that. Be- Yeah,
That
it
was
was
one that actually worked.
because like they're both warriors. They both respect each other, and like what is it? It comes to a head where like when they're like both on different sides of the battlefield, she and her brother are like fighting Jingam, but then she sees Biamba. What is it, in trouble, and so she goes to save him, and that leads to her brother getting killed. So like I don't know, it was a interesting
And
romance.
like throughout this, they divided the screen time well. Like they didn't for the side characters, they didn't give too much time to them. Like the romance between them, like there
Yeah,
wasn't too much time, but there was enough, right? Yeah, and like it was really interesting like in like Kaido's whole storyline because like his whole thing was like he's kind of being compelled by his
yeah,
mother to do all this stuff, right?
but yeah, no, like the characters are much better, developed in this season, and like you like them more.
Yeah, like I say like the two main antagonists, like I guess they were
Yeah,
Kaido and then Ahmed, right? Like two very different types of
yeah,
villain with different like morals, right? Like Ahmed was just like he was like the guy on the inside, like he was like playing the long game. He's like, hey, I'm your friend, but I'm actually not. And then Kaido on the other hand was this guy who was like who has these morals of being like, hey, I'm
but
noble, I'll do things the right way. But then his mother was kind of like compelling. He was like, no, no, you gotta do this sneaky way. You gotta undercut. And he's like, he kept losing. He's like, shit.
yeah,
Okay, maybe I actually have to.
his character was it falls for it's a fall from grace basically. Like he's not fall from grace, but like I don't know, like he goes on a downward spiral. He wants to be this honorable, better than Kublai, but like the only way to defeat Kublai is to fight like Kublai, and that bites him in the ass. Kind of like yeah. So which
Yeah.
was really interesting direction they took.
No, like definitely like they grew a bigger pair of balls. Like they did a lot of shit. Like they didn't hold back.
Yeah,
Like they had a vision and they stuck to it. And like there was like a clear path from like the beginning of the season to the end, and like you could tell that they had a vision
yeah.
and that they knew how to get to the
Unfortunately,
end.
we'll never know how their vision.
Will end, yes, because they just cut it there. Like there was so much intrigue that they had built up in that
Yeah, and
just
like
that
you
second
really
season
wanted to see where
alone.
it went, and unfortunately, they axed the show. And do you want to talk about the potential for continuation, or?
Yeah, like oh, I definitely want to talk about the potential for continuation in Deem.
Oh
We
no,
gotta find out where
what
that
is it?
Milk Road
Yeah,
ends.
like what is it? They fucking cucked us, you know. You're we were blue
They really
balls, you
they
know. We
blue
were
balls us, man, and I didn't even get into the
yeah,
I didn't even get into the court. Like I
yeah,
saw the
and we
prostitutes,
never,
didn't touch them,
no, so
didn't
cheesy.
get into the court. So cheese, man. But yeah, like so much potential. Like the I guess the obvious one is like the whole thing um, with the Marco's
Yeah,
dad and the
Prester
Pope
John,
and
like
the
that
Crusader
was
boy,
the
right?
big cliffhanger of the season. Like supposedly this Christian Crusader knight army was like fucking heavy armor, it's like coming for Kublai, and like oh shit, how's he gonna beat them?
And like another thing I forgot to mention, like something that this show kind of has, which I kind of like, it is has this weird like semi
Yeah.
mystical aspect, right? It's like they do some stuff that is just like this is kind of
Mhm.
spoopy magic stuff, right? Some witchcraft, but it's just like it's not like to the
Yeah.
extent where it's like oh that's a fire breathing dragon, right? Like it's nice. Like they had the thing with the like we mentioned the old man in the last season. He kind of like did that. There was that one scene where he kind of like shape shifted a bit, but it was just like it's kind of like a
Hmm.
trick of the eye, and then he vanished and stuff like that, right? And in this one, they had like the Crusader thing, the Crusader figure. He kind of like it was like this thing where all of a sudden his army would come out of nowhere, and then he'd be like, "Ooga booga, you're all like bippity boppity, like your land is now my property."
Is
Like
this heresy I smell? Is
yeah,
this
like he
heresy
would.
I smell?
What was that?
Holy
Of
music stops.
course. Holy music stops. But yeah, like they had that aspect, and that was like really interesting to me because like they didn't go. What was I saying?
Mystical aspects of it.
Oh yeah, the mystical element. Yeah, so like it like the mystical aspect. It had a thing where it was just like the thing a lot of okay, I'll relate this to kind of like horror movies. Like a thing a lot of horror movies get wrong is like they build up the suspense and like the intrigue behind like a monster or something. But have you noticed that I know you're not a horror person, but have you noticed that every time you actually see the full monster,
Hmm.
it becomes infinitely less scary?
Definitely. That's why like it's kind of like under the wraps.
What? Exactly. Like it's like the sense of the unknown. Like they hint at it. They show you parts of the picture, but they don't tell you the full story. So it leaves you in suspense and like it makes you want more. Like it doesn't like just spoon
Hmm.
feed you information. Like it gives you hints. And that's honestly like one of my favorite kinds of storytelling. Like just the hints that they give you with like this underlying like story where it's just like you know what like might happen. Like you piece together like hey, there's this
Yeah.
army. It's like hey, I don't know what's happening here, right? Like that stuff. Like I feel like would have really been cool to uncover
Hmm.
more in the second, third
And
season.
well, like also other things that would have liked to what would have happened in the later seasons. You know, speaking historically, what is it? Jingam is supposed to die before Kublai. Yeah, he doesn't succeed him,
Oh
and
really?
so like it'll be really interesting to see how like
So
his death adds to the show because like and how it adds to, like the downfall of the
so
Mongol
yours
Empire because you know the Mongol Empire falls and like Kublai is like the last great Khan, and so like it'll be interesting to see like how they like it's like you know it's already a fractured empire as you see with the first two seasons. So it'll be interesting to see like when Kublai loses his heir, like how like it like plays
mhm.
into the theme of like the fall of the Mongol Empire.
yeah, and like how like the dynamic between like Marco and Kublai would change, like how would
I
Marco
mean, we know
stay? Like
eventually
what's
Marco
his
comes back
reaction
to
to all of this,
Europe.
right? Because like especially yeah, eventually he does, but like like how does that happen? Because especially the second season, like it's just like
Hmm.
it really developed that
So,
relationship
well,
between the two. But also like side note, like man, so you're telling me
yeah,
Jengum gets
poor
cucked
dude.
and now he dies first?
No.
Poor man. This man's not having it.
So tell me true, Yasis. Tell me true. Would you like to see a season 3?
So I would
Is
definitely
it worth it
love to
then?
see a
Like,
season
should
three.
we call up Netflix, be like, yo,
Like,
season 3 now?
dude, like I already hit up the Netflix heads, like I
So, you
put
know,
in the
like, the
money from
show
my
was,
pocket
what is
to
it?
fund
Like,
it.
polarizing. Like, some people liked it, some people didn't. The first season had a lot of negative reviews, but the second season had more positive reviews.
Like I feel like where the second season took its stride was just that it wasn't trying to be another Game of
Yeah.
Thrones
And so,
thing.
like,
Like
it's a
it knew
shame
what it
Netflix
was
decided
and
to
stuck
axe
to it.
it. Like, because, like, especially since the show finally got its footing.
Hmm.
And, like, it would have definitely, I think it would definitely improved
Definitely.
with later seasons. And so it's a shame that Netflix didn't give him a chance.
Yeah, I would say it was one of their better shows. Like I don't know. Hopefully, in the
Well, we'll never
future,
know.
they decide to
I don't
bring it
think they
back.
will because not Netflix. Netflix has The Witcher now, so like they have their
I
own
don't.
fantasy-ish genre.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
The
it's like
Witcher, and then
big,
The
but
Last
they
Kingdom. I
have a
think
bunch
that's
of other
about
shows.
as much as.
Like I don't think they're gonna bother with Marco Polo again.
Plus, this was
Yeah,
this was
it's a
like
long time ago.
2016,
The
second
actor's
season,
probably
right?
moved
So
on. Yeah, we just have to
unfortunate,
use our
maybe.
imagination to imagine what
Uh,
season 3 would have been like. All
all
those
those
lost sex
all those
scenes.
sex scenes, all those potential sex. Oh, exactly. So, Nadim, overall, what would you give Marco Polo? I think I would probably go as like first and second season. I'd probably go like
Eight,
eight point
entire
five, eight,
eight. What is it? Yeah.
eight, entire eight. Yeah, entire eight. I think that's fair.
8.25926.
8.25. No, 927. No, but definitely 8 out of 10. I feel like it was like if you can sit through the first season, it's
Yeah.
definitely worth watching for the rest of
All
it.
right. Well, to leave it on a sad note, I guess. I'm so
Yeah,
sad now.
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
So that looks like it's all the so sad. You should stay sad. Life is sad. No more Marco Polo. I
It's
say
just
Marco, you don't
Marco
say Polo. That's how life
and
is.
silence. We're drowned
It's
like
just
the Blue
Marco.
Princess and the Venetian children who couldn't draw
Oh
trebuchets.
shit!
Never to say
Of
polo
course,
again.
never to say Polo. Oh damn.
Big.
You think that's what
Yeah.
happens to kids who don't say
I mean,
Polo?
I think that's
They
the
just
whole
drown.
point of the game, isn't it? If you don't hear polo, it's probably because they're
You drown
underwater.
kids? No,
Child
man. What is
murder.
up with you today? All right. You do you, man. Yeah. Anyway, with that, that's all the time we have for today. So I guess join us next week where we probably review another
Yep.
show, or if there's any
Catch you
game
in
news, we'll
the
talk about that, right?
next week.
Yeah. So in the next one, yeah. So if you are on one of the podcasting platforms, we have a YouTube, so go check that out. And if we're on YouTube, we're also on different podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast,
Yep.
and Google Play Podcasts. And if you're actually watching this, if you want to see us review a
Movie,
certain
video
show,
game.
TV
Let us.
show, talk about a certain topic, just let us know. And with that,
Goodbye.
we will see you next week.